There's two ways to make a woman fall head over heels for a man. One is super toxic, and one is more of a healthy approach. So, the super toxic approach would be manipulation or intermittent reinforcement. So, you're reeling the woman in by being inconsistent on purpose. So, you're giving her a bunch of what she wants, and then you might drop off for several days and not speak to her. Then you're back giving her a lot of attention and what she needs. And then you are back toxic. You're doing positive behaviors and then negative. And you're hooking her that way. What kind of relationship do you think you're going to have? What are you going to do to that person? And that's feeding your ego when you take that type of approach, because you're not getting genuine. You're manipulating somebody into feeling afraid all the time and scared and afraid of losing you. The positive way, and this is a little twofold, if you put the man in the relationship in more of a leadership position where you make him feel like he's in control, like he's leading. And his style of leading is making you feel stable, reassuring you, being steady, stable, laying out a plan that's safe and secure. That brings out a woman's best side, her confidence. It makes her feel really good about herself. And so you're getting a healthy, happy, positive outcome when you put that combination together. This setup is the perfect way for a man to pursue and to also build confidence in that woman, build trust over time in a very beautiful, alluring way, because she might test you out again. Like, okay, well, let me try it again. Like, that was so good to be true. Let me see if he'll come forward if I say, hey, I'm trying to fix the door on my house and I don't know what I'm doing. Can you come help me? She's giving him a problem to solve, and a healthier guy who is interested in long term, he's going to go for that. Whereas a guy who might not be as invested, he might laugh and say, oh no. Being a man who's fearful, avoidant, problems to solve can put him in a position of control. So that's something that you can try. And he's like, of course, because he set the tone that I'm coming to help you. I want to serve you in positive ways, because it builds a safety net. It makes her feel like I can depend on him. I can rely on him. That's what a smart man does. A smart man says, don't worry about serving me. Let me serve you. Let me take the lead in that. And what happens is you're pouring into her in positive ways. So she's going to start pouring into you and giving you back the things that you want the most. How could she resist you? It's going to be difficult for her to resist you. And she's feeling cloud nine euphoria. So she's going to want to dress better. She's going to want to act better. She's going to want to make you feel amazing. She's going to make you feel like a stud because you are taking the lead in a positive way. A smart woman will tell you that you're her hero. You're going to feel like her hero. The thing about dysfunctional, there I go again. It's disorganized, even though it is a dysfunctional attachment style. But the thing about fearful avoidance is they could be toxic or they could be amazingly healthy. And it's like, which role are you going to play? The reason why they're so alluring is because they can attract people who want somebody who is avoidant, and they can attract somebody who wants somebody who is clingy or fearful. they've got two different bases to choose from or to attract. And these are subconscious attractions, because people might say, I don't want somebody who's clingy. I don't want somebody who's avoidant. But if that's the area in which you've been hurt, that's what your subconscious is going to attract, so that you can have the power to fix it. It's an unfortunate, frustrating thing. So these people have the power to attract more quote unquote dysfunction. What makes this type sexy and alluring, the fearful avoidant, is because they're not one-sided. They're not one-noted. You're going to get an array of different sides of a person. So it makes them way more interesting. These people also can be very good at understanding people, which could make them more manipulative. If you have been placed in survival mode in many situations of your young childhood, you got to learn how to survive these toxic adults in your life. And not to say that they didn't have any positivity. They had to have had some positivity. Otherwise, they would have a personality disorder. But they've got enough toxicity that it creates an attachment style that's unhealthy. So these people, a lot of them can be very charming. They can be very interesting. They might take on a lot of things to help them to keep their anxiety at bay. So they may have very interesting things that they do. They may have a very rich internal world that they share with you that makes them different from your standard person. They may be the pretty people or the handsome people in some ways, because they had to figure out how to survive. They usually they can be seductive. They can be very sexy. So when you just look at this type on paper, you might think, oh, well, that sounds really like a really toxic individual, when they could be extremely charming. They could have a lot of haters, but they could also have a lot of people who want to be with them or want to be around them, because they've got those two polarizing things that they're dealing with. They could also be very rejecting, or they can lure you in. You got a lot of opposing forces happening with this person, and they can unleash them all on you. So there can be a very seductive element to these people, which makes them hard to shake off. They could also be supremely rejecting. And everybody knows that the way to become very appealing to somebody is to be a hardcore rejector. And that's something that we know on a subconscious level more so than a conscious level. So these people can be very rejecting when they feel deeply insecure. They could also be looking for somebody who is above board. So you can meet all kinds of really kind, nice people. They may be more attracted to somebody who's a little bit more complex. Could have a hard time finding somebody that they feel deeply attracted to, that fires on all the cylinders, because they may meet people who are supremely kind and just totally put them at ease, but there's not enough edginess to keep them going, or they might be attracted to some dysfunction, to be honest with you. So you can't take it too personally, if they reject you. They are tricky. They're tricky because they could be looking for that perfect balance of just enough edginess, because they might say, hey, look, I grew up in an environment where I was having to go through a whole lot. And if you think I want to take that on, that level of dysfunction on, in my adult life, you've got to be kidding. And so anytime they may sense any toxicity, they may run from it, or rejection, or you're hurting my feelings. And you might be thinking, I didn't even really say anything. I was just being honest because I care about you. And they take that and they say, oh no, this person's going to be too critical. I don't want to be put down, because they probably have been put down to extremes. The one parent would say, oh, you did great at that piano recital. And the other parent is like, you sucked. And I'm not going to tell you that you were great when you were really horrible. What approach do most people take with kids? They're going to be encouraging. Oh, that was awesome. You were so great, even though it was terrible. And not these people's parents. They're going to tell them, you sucked. And I'm not going to lie to you. So these people are intense. They're intense. They're looking for, a lot of times, the person that can put them at ease. So person B that I opened the video with, that's saying, hey, I'm taking the lead. This person is smart as well, because they're like, no, I don't need you to do anything for me. Let me do everything for you. Well, if somebody's doing all these things for you, it's going to trigger you to do all these amazing things for them. They're seducing the pants off of you by telling you, hey, I'm going to do everything you want. I'm going to make you feel secure. It's really a healthier approach. A more immature, fearful avoidant can be something else. They could be argumentative. They could start fights because they grew up with, that's what I saw modeled. I talk crazy to you. I talk down to you. I snap at you. I have a hot temper. I let you have it. I tell you the truth. I don't use tact. But then they can be seductive on the other hand with the opposing, the opposite, where it's like, oh, I'm so alluring, and oh, you're so amazing, and let me give you a massage, and let me cook you dinner, and let me do all these things. And then they flip on you because, oh, well, loving you is more enticing when we have these movie-like arguments with each other. And then when we make up, isn't it so much more exciting? But that's an immature approach. And sometimes they have to be broken by life. And they don't want to be broken by life. Who wants to be broken by life? Especially after you've already been through so much. It's like a fearful avoidant might feel like, I can't take anymore. I can't take anymore. They might have a few narcissistic tendencies, not fully narcissists, but just some tendencies where they're being toxic. They're putting you down in front of your homeboys or whatever. They're exercising some toxic behavior. Instead of working out things or talking to you in a respectful manner, they just let you have it and just go off. Like, I'm going to be super confrontational and ugly, because they may have a difficult time controlling their temper, but they can control it in certain settings. But they might feel extremely irritable at times. They have to learn healthy ways of maintaining a relationship with someone that they are highly toxically attracted to. Let's say that they break up with somebody that they were like in love with. But then they're confused because, yeah, they had a lot of toxic behaviors, but you put up with it. And so you finally break up with them and you get back together. Now they're completely shut down. They've tapped too far into the avoidant side. And so now you think, oh, I've got this boring person. My disorganized attachment style person is super boring because they've shut completely down, because they don't know who they are anymore with you. They don't know how to be. They don't know how to act. They don't quite know what they did to push you away, and they finally fell head over heels for you, even though at first they kind of had the attitude of, I could take you or leave you because I'm amazing. I'm wonderful. They're not fully narcissistic, but they kind of protect their ego. So I don't need you. I'm all that. People like me. They want me. So let's say they finally do get really attached to you and you break up with them. Well, now they want to walk on eggshells with you because this type is always going to be trying to figure people out. What did I do wrong? What do I need to do to keep you? So now I'm super boring. I'm super to the left. I have zero personality, and you forget that I had personality because I'm too afraid to be myself, and I don't even know who that is right now. What can also make a fearful avoidant very alluring and attractive is because they can develop a skill for reading you. And this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. In a way, don't you want somebody who reads you, who understands you, who knows what makes you tick, who knows what you want? They can perfect this skill. They know if there's somebody that needs more security. Now, individuals with a fearful avoidant attachment style can have an alluring quality that people find attractive. So, number one, they can have a mysterious aura. Their tendency to be elusive can create intrigue, making others want to know more about them. Two, independence. They may project a strong sense of self-reliance, which can be appealing to those who admire confidence. Three, passionate moments. When they do open up, their intense emotions can lead to passionate and memorable experiences. A number four reason to date one of these attachment styles is they have a charismatic energy. They may have a magnetic personality that draws people in, often being charming and engaging in social settings. And five, you should date them because of vulnerability. Their struggles with intimacy can evoke a protective instinct in others, making them appear more relatable and human. So while these traits can be attractive, it's still important to recognize that the underlying challenges that come with a fearful avoidant attachment style. But this is how they suck you in, though. They can be sexy, appealing, and alluring, but to be fair, we need to look at how fearful avoidant attachment in dating relationships can manifest in several toxic and dysfunctional ways. Number one, mixed signals. They may show interest, but often withdraw suddenly, leaving their partner confused. Two, fear of intimacy. They desire closeness, but push partners away when things get too close emotionally. Three, trust issues. Constantly doubting their partner's feelings or intentions, leading to jealousy and insecurity. Four, emotional upheaval. Intense emotional reactions to perceived threats, causing erratic behavior. And five, avoidance of conflict. They might avoid discussing issues, leading to unresolved problems and resentments. So these patterns can create a cycle of anxiety and instability in the relationship. So you might want to break these each down into pieces and focus on one at a time if you're in a relationship, and really try to see, am I avoiding certain topics? Why am I avoiding that? Practice talking about things that may be a little uncomfortable. They can also have trust issues, and that's why it's good if they're with somebody who can continuously show them stability, that I'm here, I'm stable, I'm pouring into you in positive ways. That really helps. That really, really helps. And then they start to want to give that in return. So that helps. The mixed signals usually come into play when they're with somebody that's quote unquote making them feel insecure, or they're triggered. So if you're aware that you do that, then you want to try to not be so sensitive, so emotional. You want to be careful about not giving mixed signals if you are this attachment style. So you want to stay away from fearful avoidants who have not healed enough. They have not developed a more healthy approach to dating someone. So here are some behaviors that can be manipulative or self-serving, especially when in a toxic state. So number one, love bombing, initially overwhelming their partner with affection to secure closeness, only to later withdraw and create confusion. Two, playing the victim, using guilt or sympathy to manipulate their partner into staying or forgiving them after hurtful behavior. Three, ghosting, disappearing without explanation when feeling overwhelmed, which can leave their partner feeling abandoned. Four, emotional blackmail, threatening to end the relationship or withholding affection to gain control or compliance from their partner. And five, gaslighting, minimizing their partner's feelings or experiences, making them question their reality to avoid accountability. These behaviors can lead to a toxic dynamic where the partner feels insecure, anxious, and trapped. And as somebody who taps into this attachment style from time to time in dating relationships, I'm thankful that I have been able to work through some of this stuff and quiet some of this stuff. That's how I know that we can be capable of doing this. And we don't want to do this to people. It's unnecessary. We have to find other ways to get our points across and our needs met. And if you feel like you're receiving too much toxicity yourself, then you probably need to move on. So here are some tips for arguments with someone who has a disorganized attachment style. Number one, stay cool. Keep your vibe calm and collected. It's sexy to handle drama with grace. Two, feelings matter. Show you care about their emotions. It's a turn on to feel understood. Three, speak softly. Use I statements to share your feelings. It's more intimate than blame. And four, open up. Create a safe space for both people to be vulnerable. Sharing secrets can spark deeper connection. Five, set boundaries. Clearly express what you need. Confidence is extremely or incredibly attractive. Six, listen up. Give them, your partner, your full attention. Being present is a powerful form of intimacy. Seven, find solutions together. Shift from arguing to teaming up. Working together is a bonding experience. Eight, be patient. Give disorganized attachment some space when needed. Showing understanding can deepen attraction. So I hope these tips can help you keep the passion alive when you're navigating challenges together. So instead of acting a fool and going into toxic mode, I want you to really try some of these things out. See, you want to become a very skilled dater, whether you're dating the fearful avoidant or you are the fearful avoidant. What happens if you want to play with a cat? You get a ball of yarn and you pull the string, and the cat will follow along. If you are trying to get the dog back inside the house, you're dangling a carrot or a piece of meat in front of the dog and you're leading it. You're not giving it to them totally, but you're leading them back inside the house. So person A and person B. Person A that I described at the beginning is toxic. Person B is healthy. The toxic person, he's bringing out the clingy side of disorganized attachment. He's bringing out the clingy side. He's feeding his ego. He's not creating healthy, but he is tapping into the clingy person that's going to attach and make him feel wanted in that way, but it's not pure. Person B, you're developing something over time that's healthier. He is pulling the string with the cat. So he wants to play. He's being more of the pursuer. He's bringing out a little bit of the avoidant side of the disorganized attachment because that person is going to be a little hesitant. But he gives them room to test the field and then move again, test the field and then move again until they're getting into a safe pattern that feels really, really good. He's pouring into. Person A takes away. Person B gives. So these dynamics can shift a little bit based on male and female dynamics. So you have to be aware of that too. For an insecure attachment style, like fearful avoidant, they're always looking for some sort of security. And you might want to let that man or figure out ways to put him in a leadership role. And one way to do that is by not being his mommy. He already has a mommy. So that means I'm not telling you what to do and how to do it. So you have to figure out, how do I get him to do what I want him to do without being his mommy? How can we respect each other? Men want respect. How can I get the love I need and to feel cherished? Put people with this attachment style at ease as they keep testing the waters, as they keep needing you to make them feel secure. Oh, you want hugs? I'll give you hugs. You need another hug? Here's another hug. Here's another one. What else do you need? And they may say things like, I want to serve you. I don't need you fixing my door. I'm going to fix your door. So they can put themselves in a position of control. A disorganized attachment style may need something more than just complete one note. Yes, no, maybe. How are you? Fine. They're going to want something more interesting than that. They can become very attracted to this person who has some layers and interesting notes to their personality, where you kind of keep giving disorganized attachment something new to learn about you every week, like a little crumb of, hey, here's my feisty side, or here's my funny side. So I'm doing all these things, but I'm taking the lead in a way that is healthy, that has some boundaries. Both sides should have their standards, male and female. What are your standards? What are your non-negotiables? So you're teaching each other, this is what I like, and I'm going to be gentle with what I don't like. Very, very gentle. There's more subtle ways, more mysterious, intriguing ways to get your point across. And this is what can make dating fun too, because it is a game. I mean, it's a game, but it's, which game are you going to play? You're going to play game A or you're going to play game B. Both are games, but one can keep the person, the fearful avoidant, in a state of chaos and craziness, where you're getting toxicity and you're not getting authentically who they are. And the other one is creating something new, something fresh, something exciting, something challenging in a very positive way. So you might want to have a leader and you have a follower, but the follower can keep things interesting as well. Like, they could be teaching you something new. Hey, here's something I learned. I learned a new art trick today. Want to see it? Okay, so it doesn't mean boring. It just means we are trying to get to a secure attachment style in an interesting way, with a very sexy, seductive attachment style who could make you go on a seesaw with them where it's up, down, crazy, or they can give you exciting in a more steady and healthy way. So I would say don't discard somebody who is fearful avoidant. We just want to keep moving the carrot and want to create healthy dynamics along the way. See, the reason why when a man pursues in this way, he's putting down one tile at a time, and he lets you catch your balance, and then he moves to the next tile and he lets you catch your balance. And he's giving you what you want. Disorganized attachment style is going to constantly, especially until they learn that they can trust you. Fearful avoidant always has one foot out the door because they're always looking for safety. Is this safe? Am I okay? Can I keep going? Give them a reason to keep going with you. Don't let that work. See, healthy B doesn't give you an excuse. Let you feel their trust, their love, their safety, their warmth, their giving. They're giving. They trust the art of giving, right? Doing the hard work, but having fun with it. That's how you pursue. And women want to be pursued, but pursuing doesn't mean that you're selfishly doing things to get only what you want. They understand the art of giving her what she wants because I'm going to benefit big time. I'm going to hook her and she's not going to ever want to let go. And we're going to have way more fun together. We don't want to just heal on a surface level. We want to heal on a deeper subconscious level. And that's what you're helping the fearful avoidant attachment style to do when you are slow and steady. I'm not talking about impossible and steady. I'm talking about consistently, one step at a time. I'll prove it to you again. I'll prove it to you again. I'll prove it to you again. Like you have the patience to prove it to them again that you are here and that we are in this together. You can even problem solve together and figure things out together. You're making things happen and you're showing each other, hey, we can build a life together. But we got to throw the toxic out of the door. We got to be sexy and we got to keep the toxic out. But I would say before you just discard this attachment style, give them a chance, learn how to work them because they can be super sexy, seductive, fun. They're not going to genuinely be your boring type. And you want to be careful with confrontation. Not to say that you can't confront, you got to build a lot of trust before you confront. And when you confront, be careful. Don't be petty because they feel like, okay, you trust me and that means everything to me. And then you question them on something that makes them feel like you don't trust them. Okay, I thought you trusted me. I thought you were looking out for me. Fearful avoidance can be seductive and sexy, and they can flirt with anybody. They can flirt with people they're interested in, and they can flirt with people that they're not interested in, and that could be a little tricky. Lane B. This version of fearful avoidant keeps seducing you by giving you the steady, stable foundation that they also need, and they keep moving it steady. There aren't any starts and stops.